All right, this time at the Quick Speed Shop, I'm back working on my 80 Dodge. I'm doing some custom fabrication. We're installing a 35-gallon Ramcharger gas tank in the back of this. I got custom bracketry, custom straps, making it fit, and I'll show you how I'm doing it, starting right now. But now it's time to think about an actual fuel tank. If you know anything about these trucks, they are saddle tank trucks with a plastic tank down the driver's side. Well, what's this? Aha, it's a secret. This is a Ramcharger tank. 87 Ramcharger. I actually pulled this out of a Ramcharger that I junked, and obviously somebody had taken it out of a junkyard and put it in there, because I think the Ramcharger I junked was an 83 or 4, but they put an 87 tank in it. But it's plastic. It's 36 gallons as opposed to the original side tank here, which I don't even know how many gallons those were. Probably like 18 or something like that. But the original tank was also plastic, and it bolted in here to this bracket, and it took up all the space here, which I had, but I wanted to run dual exhaust all the way back off the engine, and I didn't want to have to cross over and fight with the transfer case and the exhaust and all that. So I got rid of that, and I'm going to install the Ramcharger tank. And it gives me way more capacity. Like I said, 35 or 36 gallons, whatever they are, something like that. That might be 35 gallons. So I got this tank. I've got a new sending unit for it. I got to get a new rollover valve for it. But these tanks have, what do you call it? Inlet and return and a vent. This is the vent line here. One of these must be a ground, and the other one's the sending unit. I ran the sending unit wire back here so I can hook that up. I'm just trying to figure out how it's going to fit. It fits this rear crossmember bracket really well. It hangs in here. I think on the Ramchargers there was some kind of rear crossmember that came across and sat here, and something else up here. There's a guy on the internet repopping straps for these, stainless steel straps to go up there. I'm not going to buy those. They're like $100. I'm just going to have to make my own, because this is all custom action anyways. And what I'm going to try to do is make the straps go here where this is, make a strap that comes up and probably attaches here to the shock mount to strap it here. And then I might add a piece to the frame here, like a tube, to kind of lock this in so the tank can't slide ahead. It can't slide back because of this. Then I might add a piece of tubing across here to tie into these plates I welded in to strengthen the frame. Just put a little piece of tubing, probably like square tubing across here, just to hold the back of the tank up. Then it'll sit in there, under pressure, and then I'll bring the straps up. Actually, I'll make some kind of way to attach the straps to this piece of tubing here, and I'll just make a new strap that goes around and locks this thing up in the truck. Okay, so I got the tank ratchet strapped into place where I want it here, and it's going to fit pretty good. Like I said a little while ago, we're going to make some more brackets to hold it in there, and I've run some fuel lines while I was at it here off site, or off camera. Got the return line here, which was leaking. I had to put a clamp on it. Got the return line here, which goes on here for the return, and the outline 5/16 line here is going to go down. I got some gasoline in the fuel line right now, right here in this plastic line, so I don't really want to take it apart, especially when the open flame heater's running. But I'm going to put some clamps on these lines, get them clamped into place. Then I'll put the filter on the suction line filler neck, which is just going to work out just fine. It's going to come right across the side of the frame here. And we can poke it out the side of the box, or actually I've got the filler neck from the original gas tank, used to be up there in the side of the box, so I'll move it to the back and I'll use that here. But it should work pretty good. It should fit in there good. Doesn't hang down too low, doesn't hang down past the hitch really. And I thought about making a cross member for the bottom of it, or not a cross member, like a skid plate, because it's a plastic tank. But I can't imagine this truck being this tall. Like, I'm going to drive over something that high where it's going to hit the bottom of the plastic tank. I can't imagine that's going to happen. So maybe I'll make the straps so we can bolt a skid plate to the bottom, or have a bracket for that or whatever. But for now, it's just going to hang out in place where it is. All right, it's the next day. Here we go. gas tank fabbing. I've got figured out what I'm doing on my bars here. I cut this 1-inch piece of tubing, and it's going to weld to this reinforcement I put on the bottom of the frame for the trailer hitch. Back here, I'm going to drill it for a bolt to come through, and a bolt's going to hang down, and a bolt's going to hang down through here where the straps go, and then the straps will come up and bolt to the bottom of that. And in the front here, I've got another piece of 1-inch tubing that's going to bolt to the frame up here so it's removable. And it's going to bolt in here to the frame like this, so going across. And I think I'm going to weld a tab off the front of it here with a bolt hole here, so the strap will come around and then bolt into that. And the straps will suck the tank up. The tank's going to kind of like squish to this main cross member here. It's the right shape for the tank. This is blow molded, and I noticed it's just a little like skewed or warped or whatever. Like it doesn't fit 100% perfectly square. Like if I line the piece of tubing up here, the tank's off like an 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch or so. This way it's like, it's probably, I mean, it's old, it's sat outside, it could be deformed from sitting in the sun, but it'll mush it with the straps enough to strap up in there. So when the straps wrap around here, it'll go down around the back and then up into here. It'll keep it from going forward, back, plus these will kind of lock it in, and then it can't lift up from the top. So that's going good. I've got out a piece of wood here just to approximate where the bed floor is going to be. When the bed goes on, it's 4 inches up. The original cross members are like C-channel, and then they had like a piece of box tubing down that sat on the frame. I've been thinking about how to do that. But the bottom of the floor would come up here, sit on the frame, and then it's like 2.5 inches or so back here. And a rear cross member, and then there used to be another cross member here, which I've replaced the metal here. But if you look across the top of the frame, now the tank sticks up here where that cross member is, so I'm going to have to it's the cross member. I'm just have to stand it up. I'm probably going to move it up to here to clear that hump in the front where the rollover valve goes. So I'll probably move the next cross member up to here so there's room to clear the tank there. And then there is also room for the filler neck to come out under the bed floor. And then the box side is about, it's almost lined up with that last indent of the cab. So the box side is about here, and then I'll use the factory filler neck that's currently in the front of the box. So I'll move it to the back of the box, and that will go here to the filler neck. I'm not sure how far the fender comes back here, so we might need to spin this a little bit and like rotate it and put the filler neck over here a little bit. We'll figure that out when we put the box together. All right, so I got the front bar mounted here. What I did was I drilled through the bottom of the frame, and I put a 5/16 bolt in. I used my nut insert gun to put a nut insert in the bottom of this. Since all the weight is going to be down on the frame, it doesn't take much to hold it bolted. So it's got a 5/16 bolt on each side, grade 8. But now we got our tabs for our straps to come around here and kirk right into there. And I just got done welding the rear bar on here, which takes 5/16 bolts, which drop through the bar like that. And then the strap will come up right here, around here, and bolt to the bottom of this, and then wrap down around the tank. So once the straps are on, it'll push it up against the cross member here, and then also lock it in front to rear with these bars. So that should be plenty to mount this tank in this frame, I'm going to guess. And I think next we'll make the straps. I'm going to look, I got some flat stock. Hopefully I don't have to buy any, because if you buy it like at Home Depot or whatever, it's very expensive, and I can't go to the steel store over the weekend. So let me go look in my flat stock supply and see if I got some 1.5 or 2 inch, probably 2 inch flat stock that we can easily bend up and make some straps and get this tank mounted. Because I want to start working on the box. I tease that. Next video is going to be we're starting to build the box. And I can't wait for that, because it's really going to, fill out the back of the truck. All right, check it out. I found some flat stock, and I bent up a strap. I started just bending it by hand. I marked it out. This is 2.5 inch wide. You can see it had bolt holes in it. I don't know what it was. It was laying on the floor over there by that bench for 1.5 years, and suddenly it's come in handy. So it bends real easy. It's like 1/8 inch flat stock, and I've bent it around. Let me show you how it goes on the tank. It's a little short. I cut it in half to make a 40 inch piece. It was 80 inches long, so I cut it in half. I'm about 6-8 inches short on the front end, so we're gonna have to make another piece and weld them together. Sometimes you gotta make do with what you got. So it comes around here and it bolts onto my piece of tubing with the 5/16 bolt. And the bolt's a little bit longer than it needs to be, just so you can have some threads to get the strap up on here, just like regular gas tank straps where they, they kind of sandwich the tank. So the rear fits good. It fits under the tank pretty good. The slots are 2.5 inches wide in the plastic tank, so the 2.5 inch strap works out good. A little dark to see under here, but here's the underside of the tank, and the strap is going to come around, and you see how it fits through the slot in the bottom just fine. It's not 100% tight to the tank in every single inch, but this big flat section along the bottom, it's nice and flat here. It'll hold it good. And then that just comes around up here to the front of the tank, like that. You see how it's just a little bit short. I bent this over to get a flat tab, so I can, I'll cut a piece here. I'll get it fit to bolt onto here, and then I'll just overlap it, and we'll weld them together here, and it should be fine. I'll do a couple plug welds and then butt weld the bottom and the top. It'll be way more than good enough to hold that in there. Put another 5/16 bolt here, and we'll have a heavy-duty strap that'll strap that guy in. All right, I finalized the straps here. I'll show you what I did to extend the end. I found a little bit more of this material, and I cut extensions, and I cut this angle in them so I can weld all the way around and get a nice overlap there. But I just went and I made a hook out of it, and I've got the driver's side installed. It just hooks right over my little tab here. 5/16 bolt goes down in. You can see the overlap here where it's going to get welded up. It's just tacked together now, but it goes under the tank, and then it bolts up here, and it locks this thing right in tight, sucks it right in. I got about that much where the bolts are thrown when I put the nut on there, so then I cinch it down. It just like a regular gas tank strap. It sucks the thing up tight, holds it here, holds it around everywhere. So this tank's not going anywhere. So what's this going to weigh all together when it's full? 35 gallons, like 7 pounds a gallon roughly for water. So say the same thing for gas. So 7 times 35, 7 times 300 will be 210 plus 7 times plus 30, so 245 pounds full altogether. This is way more than enough to hold it in there, these 1/8 inch straps and all that stuff. So bam, that's awesome. Okay, it's the next day. The paint is dry and the fuel tank is installed. Bam, everything's all painted up nice. And the last step for this video is going to be try to get the sending unit out and get the new one installed so we can hook up the fuel lines. Out here out front, I've got a, where is it? Right here, brand new sending unit. You can see there's 3. There's the suction, there's a return line, and then there's the vent that goes to the filler neck, right there, the big one. And we got that ready to go in the new gasket. So I got no idea how difficult it's going to be to get these screws out of here, but they're extremely rusty, so I'm going to assume that's going to be no fun. This is the bummer of the operation right here. Maybe might be able to. Yeah, oh no, they're like rusted right out. Man, this is. How is this going to even work? Maybe we'll go and we'll tap them with a chisel just a little bit. Try to loosen them up. I'm hoping they're like in brass or something in here, but who knows. Try to loosen them up a little bit, but I doubt I'm going to be able to grip them enough to rip them. Yeah. Oh no. This is an unfortunate set of circumstances right here. I want to see if I can just like chisel on the side of the screw and get the turn. Oh, it's working. Yes. There we go. Look at that. Nice. The problem I'm going to have is the threads are sticking way down through the tank. They're going to have rust on them, and then you know it's only going to come out so far. Then it's going to seize up. Or not. Or not. Spoke too soon. Yes. Yes. Here we go. I don't believe it, but I got to. I'm looking right at it. Look at that. Nice. Just a little rusty machine screw. Well, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 to go. Well, I'm halfway there. I got 3 out of the 6 out, and you see my process. I just keep tapping and going. This one is stuck pretty good here. I'm going to wait on that, try to get these other 2 loose, and then maybe I can start to work the sending it around and take some of the pressure off and get the vice grips on it and get it off, or cut around it maybe with some tin snips and get it out. But you probably don't need to watch me just continue to tap. You get the idea. I'm just going to keep tapping and working these guys out, and we'll pull a sucker off here and get the new one installed. All right, I got all the screws out, finally. Here we go, let's do the reveal. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's the return line. Oh, this isn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be whatsoever. I bet this still worked. We could test it with a meter later, but I was sure that this was going to be... Oh, you know what? I know I replaced it, because it's all rotted on top. Anyways, bam, there we go. I'm going to have to go on the hunt for some screws. I'd like to get some stainless steel ones to put in there. That'd be the hot setup, but we got her off. And luckily the screws, none of them broke. I can't tell if that's brass or not. What's the inside of the tank look like? It's pretty much dry, and it shouldn't have... Yeah, what is that? It's a little bit of water and schmoo. I wonder if I can get a rag in there somehow and wipe some of this nonsense out of there. There we go, I made like a schmoo stick. Let's see if I can get some schmoo out of it. It's like a little mop. Just kind of dowel it around in there and see what we get. Smells like old gas and nonsense. Does it do anything? There is just a little bit of water in there. Oh no! Dang it! Full disclosure, I dumped all the residual gas out of this, and I hosed it out with water to try to rinse it out, and then I had a hard time getting all the water out. That's why it's got just a little residual water in it. But maybe, just maybe, oop, just got a chunk out of there, wherever that came from. But I'm gonna, yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good in there. Better than it was. Now we got a nasty smelling rag on a stick. We'll just set that over there out the way. So now we can go and get our new sending unit. Actually, let me take these screws. I got stainless steel hardware. Maybe I can find some stainless steel screws like this. Let me do that real fast. Okay, I found some screws. They're 1032s. I got some stainless ones, and they're too long, but if you got a set of these pliers, I don't know if you knew this, if you're an electrician you do, but they've got little holes on here with the different thread sizes, and a cutter, you can just go like this, and you can go bam! You can cut your screw to length. These are stainless, so they're a little stiffer than a sheet metal screw, like, you know, regular plain steel screw. So it took a little bit of effort, but you chop her off, and then you just go and back her out of your pliers like that, and you've got a little screw, whatever length you need. I needed them to be about 1/2 inch because where they go into the tank, there's a little plastic bottom. They're not through holes. That's why they weren't rusted out. So I had to cut all these stainless steel screws down to 1/2 inch or so, and now they are ready to install the new gasket. Okay, let's put the sending unit in. I put just a little bit of grease in the screw holes to help the stainless get in there. And this gasket is, I think, the holes are staggered. So we got to turn it to find the proper orientation. That looks like that's it right there. Oops. This guy goes in here. Here we go. There we go. Leaves a little bit to be desired here lining up wise. Thunder? I hear thunder. All right, bam. Installed. And now I gotta redo my stupid lines because they're not gonna work. Actually, yeah, well, I can make the return. I can bend that, kind of snake it around. If I just bend around over here, I mean, I can make it work. The other line here, I can do something with this. I've made this, I can, you know, is there a hole here? I'm going to rebend it. I'm going to snake around the front of the tank and come in. Well, maybe that'd be it. I don't know. Well, anyways, there we go, installed. I'll go ahead and I'll get my line swapped over. And here's the wire for the, what you call it, that I can splice to the connector to go down for the I'm trying to say the sending unit. And I'm just going to run the ground over to the frame with a screw, ground that. So bam, that's it on the fuel tank. Installed. Nice. So now we got our 35-gallon Ramcharger tank in the 80 Dodge ready to go. Listen to the thunder. It's weird. Thunder coming. So the back of the frame is pretty much all fabbed up now, from the frame down, suspension, fuel tank, all that. Next time I got a treat. More controversy. I've been getting a lot of flack in the comments about not fixing the door and the paint being all nasty on this truck. Wait until you see what the box looks like. Oh boy. Patina trucks are where it's at. So, you'll have to check that out next time. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment. Even if it's a hater comment, I'll respond anyways. We can argue in the interwebs. And we'll see you again. Thanks for watching. Bam. Here at the Quick Speed Shop.